Good evening. Yeah, it's the evening, and yeah, we're celebrating Impact, so why not take a look at the top 10 men in Impact Wrestling history? And this list was really hard to make just because Impact has had a lot of great people, and it was hard to exclude certain people off of this list, and the rankings are even a little harder for me just to get through because I feel like some should be higher than others, but let me know what you think. So here are the top 10 men in Impact Wrestling history. Number 10, Abyss. The man, also known as Joseph Park, is someone who is intrinsically connected to the darker parts of Impact. And I'm not talking about the dark times of Impact TNA Wrestling. I'm talking about those hardcore matches. You know you're great. You know you're something special and someone special when you have your own match. Just how The Undertaker and Triple H both have the Hell in a Cell, Abyss has the Monsters Ball match. From his feuds with Father James Mitchell as both his manager and someone he opposes, the Decay to TNA management, and also being Joseph Park, Abyss is someone that deserves to be recognized and probably doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to the history of Impact Wrestling. He has been a formidable foe. He has been a formidable teammate. Hasn't won many championships, but he's the kind of guy in wrestling where you really don't need championships to solidify who you truly are. Number 9, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Now you're wondering, well, if Daniels is on this list, who else is on this list? But here's the thing: Christopher Daniels is part of that early bread and butter of Impact and TNA history, elevating the company, helping put them on the map with the X Division in his battles with Samoa Joe and his battles with AJ Styles. The Fallen Angel was someone who needed to be recognized, coming from Ring of Honor and helping to build this company and pretty much being the bread and butter of what Impact is and was at the time. Can't get no better than the Fallen Angel himself. Number 8, Frankie Kazarian. Now this may shock a lot of people, but I feel like Kaz has been an unsung hero for Impact and TNA, from being in the X Division, help carrying that brand, to being able to be a face, being able to be a heel, being in Fortune, being in a couple of other stables in his feuds, and just he's someone that Impact has been able to rely on, with stints in All Elite Wrestling where he became the first ever tag team champion in AEW, to being the Elite 100 and finally making his way back to Impact. It felt right. Frankie Kazarian is, in my opinion, he's in that class with Abyss, with Christopher Daniels, where they're so important but they don't get recognized, and I am right now recognizing Frankie Kazarian. Number 7, Eric Young. Yes, Eric Young has to be on this list. Now, some may fault Impact for trying to turn him into Daniel Bryan, following Daniel Bryan's epic run in the WWE, but it was suited for Eric Young. Before even all of that, this man was able to do comedy, was a part of Team Canada, played a crazy heel. Eric Young has been able to do any and everything in Impact. This is a man who bets on himself. Eric Young knows what he's capable of, and he excels at it. No matter what you ask him to do, he can do it, and you always need someone like that in your company. Eric Young is a multiple-time world champion, tag team champion, X Division champion. He's been a part of some of the biggest storylines in Impact's history. Go back and watch the early years when they've got faction warfare or they're going up against management. Guess who's there? Eric Young. Put some respect on his name. Number 6, the icon Sting. Now this one's a little tough. This is a name where I thought he could probably come off, but when you go back and look at Sting's career and Impact and TNA, it's been nothing short of amazing, joining in and bringing his presence, being able to help carry the load. And he was there for those dark days of Impact, being a part of the Main Event Mafia, being a part of these legendary moments, becoming Joker Sting, revitalizing himself. Now, it started out a little rough, but now we know when Joker Sting shows up, it gets real. And the crazy thing is, Sting is still going strong today. He's probably winding down his career, but where would Impact be without this legendary wrestler being a part of the company? If you think back to all of the true legends that joined the company at one point or another, does it really get bigger than the icon Sting? I think not. Number 5, Robert Roode. Now, some of you may think this is a little high for Robert Roode, but man, oh man, he's up this high because of what he achieved, what he became, going from just a tag team wrestler and Beer Money. And Beer Money is a legendary tag team, and it sucks that I don't have James Storm on this list. But Robert Roode going from Beer Money to the face of the company, becoming world champion, being a part of Team Canada, just like Eric Young. Robert Roode excels. Robert Roode looks like a wrestler. Robert Roode is a wrestler, and being able to transform himself into whatever he needed to be in Impact works. His career is something special, and he got that big moment. There was a speed bump along the way thanks to one Hulk Hogan, but Robert Roode is Impact. Robert Roode is TNA. From Beer Money to Fortune to becoming the star that he is today, Robert Roode is money. And when you got your mind on your money and your money on your beer, you succeed. Number 4, Jeff Jarrett. Now listen, it might be blasphemous to put the man who started the company at number 4, but he's definitely top 5. Like I said about Abyss, Jeff Jarrett has a match. His match. The King of the Mountain match. That is Jeff Jarrett's match. He has the most King of the Mountain wins at 9. 9 King of the Mountain wins. This man started this company. Yes, he had a reign of terror like Triple H, but sometimes when you go back and look at it, it's not horrible. It's not great, but it was needed. Jeff Jarrett brought us TNA. He and his father and Dixie Carter brought us this company, and they gave us another outlet, another promotion for other stars to come to. If we didn't have Jeff Jarrett creating TNA, we probably don't have AJ Styles. We probably don't have Samoa Joe. We probably don't have Eric Young and Petey Williams in the Knockouts division and the Women's Revolution. Jeff Jarrett is the almost close to being the heart and soul of TNA, and we owe him a really, really, really big show of gratitude for help bringing us this company. Number 3, Kurt Angle. Now we get down to the nitty gritty. Now I think you all know who the top 3 are going to be, and of course Kurt Angle comes in at number 3. The moment, you know what moment I'm talking about? His debut, going face to face with Samoa Joe and headbutting him, started everything. I truly believe that once TNA got Kurt Angle, that's when they really started to flourish. And they've had stars before. They were already growing, but he was almost, honestly, their first true major signing. I mean, before him, we had, Rikishi and the Macho Man and Ron Killings. We had a lot of other people, but something has to be said about Kurt Angle coming to TNA, and he didn't come to TNA by choice. Remember, he was let go because of his issues by the WWE, but he was just perfect there, being in the Six Sides of Steel, the moonsaults, the matches with AJ, the matches with Joe, the main event Mafia. Kurt was great, revitalizing his career, giving himself a second chance at doing what he loves. Kurt Angle is just important to TNA. The matches he put on, the stories he gave us, it has to be acknowledged. And Kurt Angle deserves to be this high. He could probably be number 1 or 2, but I think we know who number 1 and number 2 is. Speaking of number 2, come on, man. It's the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. Joe's gonna kill you. Samoa Joe became, honestly, the legendary badass that he is because of TNA. And he had some ups and downs, but once things really got going with Samoa Joe, there was just no stopping the man. And if you go back and look at the early days of TNA with Samoa Joe, it looks weird, right? Smaller Samoa Joe doesn't fit that crappy face paint he had at one point, but the Samoan submission machine, the ultimate badass that he is now, was all started in TNA. His legendary feud with Kurt Angle, his legendary feud with AJ Styles, being a part of the X Division. Samoa Joe showed us what big men can be, and that they don't have to be pigeonholed into this monster archetype, and they've got to be slow and brooding. He is the Samoan submission machine. He is a badass, and he is the bloodline. A few people can say that of TNA. Part of the X Division. Remember, TNA is nothing without the X Division, and he was such a large part of it. Samoa Joe is that dude. Should I run down his resume in Impact? Samoa Joe is everything. If we go down to his championships, if we go all the way to Impact Wrestling, Samoa Joe, TV champ, world champ, tag team champ, X Division champ, King of the Mountain, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. You know, the crazy thing is, he only has one world championship in TNA. That's absurd to think about. A man that is that important to TNA only has one world championship. Put some respect on that man's name. Number 1, AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. You knew, I knew who was going to be number 1. Was it going to be anyone else? No. AJ Styles is TNA. AJ Styles is Impact Wrestling. He is the heart, the soul, the lifeblood of TNA. Multiple time world champion, multiple time tag team champion, Legends champion, X Division champion, Triple Crown winner, Grand Slam champion, so on and so forth. AJ Styles is the phenomenal one. And yes, he's had amazing runs all across the world, especially in New Japan and in the WWE. But what he did in TNA and Impact Wrestling is everything. He's given us legendary matches. He's been able to come down and play second fiddle, like when he played Christian's minion and allowing Christian to become a big star. He himself, AJ Styles, has been a big star. He's been in feuds where you're like, okay, I just want to watch this. Let me just watch this dude go to work. Him and Joe, him and Christopher Daniels, him and Kurt Angle, everything. And it's been weird sometimes to see AJ Styles play a heel, but he played it so well, and he's been able to do the comedy, and he's been able to do the seriousness and the fun stuff. AJ Styles is everything we love about TNA, and when he gets into the Hall of Fame, it should be truly honored. AJ Styles is everything. He's one of the greatest in-ring performers ever. No matter what company you're in, no matter what company he's in, it's always top 5. He's everything, according to Paul Heyman, that Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Ric Flair were to the generations, and he's updated it. He's evolved time and again, and that's what makes AJ Styles the phenomenal one. Is there someone I missed? Is there someone you think should be on this list? Someone you think shouldn't be on the list? Let me know. But come back for the next list, the top 10 women of Impact history. Don't forget to check out the High Risk Wrestling Podcast every Saturday. Peace.